Hey lovely people, so today I wanted to talk about how to do beauty on a budget. You don't really have to spend a whole lot of money on makeup in order to have an amazing makeup look. And there are products at the drugstore, specifically makeup products, that are really amazing quality and often beat the quality of high-end makeup. So I kind of wanted to talk about the products that I incorporate into my makeup routine that are from the drugstore that are really amazing quality and that I would highly recommend. So I'm gonna go right in and talk about those makeup products. By the way, all the products that I'm mentioning today in this video are on my face today. So yeah, just wanted to let you know. So I wanted to begin by talking about what I have on my eyes today. So I'm going to talk about the eyeshadow palette that I'm using. And the eyeshadow palette that I'm using today is by Juvia's Place. And it's the, why do I have an eyelash on it? Oopsie. Juvia's Place is probably one of the more cheaper, affordable brands out there that produce a really good quality for eyeshadows. I have used several of their palettes, and I have to say that their quality is very consistent across all their palettes. Every palette that they come out with is really amazing and doesn't in any way, their quality doesn't in any way diminish with every palette that they release. So yeah, definitely would recommend. This palette is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and it's a really good palette. It's very pigmented. This is the inside of the palette. Yeah, it's really beautiful. But yeah, this is just one of their many palettes that they have, and usually their palettes do come in the this kind of size, and they don't, if you're looking for something more neutral, wearable, don't worry, because they don't just produce colorful shadows. They also produce, you know, more neutral, more toned down, more everyday wearable colors. So yeah, definitely highly recommend. This is a really good brand, and it's super affordable. I think this palette came, I think I purchased it for 12 bucks only, which is really good for high, you know, really good quality, which is almost comparable to high-end quality. Yeah, it's really good. So highly recommend Juvia's Place. Oh my gosh, sorry, my cat is on here. Hi Nylu. Hello. Oh, what's that? No, go away. Yeah, anyways, my cat. Next product that I want to talk about is the eyeliner that I'm wearing on my waterline. So I'm not going to talk about what I'm wearing on my lids, because that doesn't technically count as a cheap product or a drugstore product, because first off, you can't really get it at the drugstore, or you can't really get it at Ulta, which is known to be like, you know, sort of the drugstore, because you can find cheap products there. You can only find what I wear on a day-to-day basis. For my eyeliner, I don't really have any alternatives, or I don't have any recommendations, but for my ink eyeliner, I do use a product from Sephora, which I don't want to talk about because it's not affordable. I wouldn't really count it as affordable. But what I am wearing on my waterline is affordable, and it is by Maybelline. And it's their Maybelline Tattoo Studio Gel Pencil Liner, and it's a really good eyeliner. It does stay on pretty much all day, and it doesn't budge. When I come back from a long day, you know, maybe like 8+ hours of being out, it's still there. So very, you know, budge proof. It's, you know, good for all day wear. Definitely I recommend. So the next product that I want to talk about is what I have on my lashes today. So for my fake lashes, I have on the Eylure Linden No. 6 lashes, and I highly recommend this pair because it's super lightweight. When you put it on, you feel it initially, but the feeling of having it on goes away over time. And you kind of, like, I personally forget that I'm even wearing lashes sometimes because of how lightweight these are. And also I love the effect that it gives. It kind of gives like a wing effect, which is why this is my favorite pair. But as far as affordability goes, this is, I would say, pretty affordable. You can definitely find this at the drugstore for sure. You can find this at CVS, Walgreens. So it's definitely a good drugstore product if you want to get fake lashes. Definitely recommend. So the next product that I want to talk about is mascara. So the brand that I recommend from the drugstore for mascara is Essence. Essence is a super affordable brand. Their mascaras are less than $5. I think they're $4.99. I have to double check, but yeah, they're super cheap. And I have two mascaras from Essence. I have the Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect mascara in waterproof, and the other one I have is basically the same thing but non-waterproof. And I do prefer the non-waterproof just because it does dry really quickly. What I tend to be on the run a lot of the times, and I have to do my makeup really quickly, and so I do prefer this one because it dries very quickly and, you know, allows me to put a second layer, which, you know, you kind of have to put a second layer with these mascaras because the first layer, you know, it does, you know, give a bit of volume, but the second time that you apply it, it gives length. And I haven't, you know, experienced a lot of mascaras where they do both volume and lengthening, but these mascaras really do that. So definitely highly recommend the Essence Lash Princess mascaras. The next product that I want to talk about, which I probably should have talked about beforehand, but I want to talk about a good eyelid primer from the drugstore. So my eyelids do get oily and they do crease very easily. And if I don't use some sort of primer on my eyelids before I put on eyeshadow, my eyeshadow ends up creasing within a few hours, and it looks very bad. But the one that I want to recommend from the drugstore that's a really good eyelid primer is the e.l.f. Eyelid primer, and the one I have is in sheer. I think they have another one that's I think pearl white, and I think that adds a little bit of shimmer on your eyelids, but I do like the sheer one. And yeah, it's not good if you want something to like kind of cover up any like veins you have or any discoloration. But I don't really, because I don't really need it, I do really like this eyelid primer. I think it does a really good job of kind of like drying your, kind of like preventing oiliness from occurring on your eyelids. And it's also good for preventing any creasing from occurring as well. So yeah, definitely highly recommend the e.l.f.'s eyelid primer. So the next product that I want to talk about is bronzer. And the product that I want to talk about is the Physicians Formula Murumuru Butter Bronzer in the color Deep Bronze, or I have the color in Deep Bronze, but there are, I think you have, I think it comes in 3 shades. So yeah, but this one is the darkest one, and it's what I'm wearing today. But yeah, this one is really good. I have to say that the product itself, you know, there's a lot of product in the pan, and it's super creamy. When you touch it with your finger, it gives a very buttery feeling, and when you put it on the skin, it's very easy to blend and you know, super easy to work with. And yeah, it lasts all day. The color is amazing. I think that, you know, it's a really good drugstore product for, you know, bronzing up the face, especially for the summer. You know, when you want to create like a tanned, you know, look, it's really great for that. So the next product that I want to talk about is concealer. So for concealer, I do use Tarte Shape Tape, which is, you know, I wouldn't consider it a cheap brand or a cheap product, because it's not. It's 27 bucks, which, you know, makes it a high-end product. But I really don't have any drugstore recommendations for concealer. And, you know, I think that, in my opinion, the Tarte Shape Tape concealer is a really good product. And if you are going to buy a concealer, I would buy a concealer that performs really well. and the Tarte Shape Tape concealer performs really good, really well. And though if you are, if you do really want to buy a drugstore concealer, the one I would recommend is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer. I used to use it all the time before I started using the Tarte Shape Tape, and that one's a really good product. It does do what it says it will do: conceal blemishes and dark under eyes. It really does a good job of that. And there are so many shades that it carries that you won't have any problem finding your shade to do whatever cover up you need to do. So yeah, that's definitely a drugstore product for under eye concealer or blemish concealer that I recommend. The next product that I want to talk about is contour. So I did talk about bronzer, but I want to talk about contour because contour is a little different from bronzer, because bronzer often, it kind of has like a orangey tint to it, but contour has a grayish tint to it, which is great for like creating shadow on the face. And you want to create shadow on places where you want to have like some sort of like chisel, or you want to kind of like bring in the face, to kind of like how I'm bringing in my cheekbones. I'm kind of like making that shadow, creating a shadows to like bring my skin under my cheekbones in and bring my cheekbones out, so it kind of like makes my jawline or my cheeks a little, how do I say it, more defined. But yeah, so for contouring, I like to use the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. This is a really good contour stick. It is super creamy. It blends really well with a brush. I would recommend using a brush instead of a sponge, because I know that there is the option of using a puff or a sponge to blend the cream, but with this product I feel that it's best to use a brush, because it does dry down on the face. It's not super creamy, but it is creamy enough that you can blend it out with a brush. So but yeah, I do really like this product. It does last a long time, and it's perfect for contouring. So yeah, definitely recommend the Wet n Wild dual-ended contour stick. The next product that I want to talk about is setting spray. Actually, no, I want to talk about that last. The next product that I want to talk about is lip liner. And for lip liner, I use the Jordana Easyliner for lips. And it's a retractable lip liner, so you twist it up and the product comes out of the tube, and you have a wide range of colors, and they're super creamy and super easy to use. They do last all day, and yeah, definitely recommend. I do use these on a daily basis, so these are really great for lining the lips. So the next product that I want to talk about is lipstick, and a drugstore recommendation is the Srsly Satin lipstick from e.l.f. And this is a recent discovery of mine, and these are really amazing. So these lipsticks, by the way, there's a whole range of colors to choose from. So if you want to, get something bold, you can get something bold, or if you want to get something, more neutral for daily wear, you can get that too. But these are very creamy, and they glide on very easily, and also they last all day. So even if you do have like oily foods, they'll last through that too, which is really amazing. But they're not like liquid lipsticks. They do transfer a little bit. They do come off. When you eat a lot, when you drink a lot, they do come off. But for the most part, they do last a while, and they last better than most of the lipsticks I have in my collection. So yeah, definitely highly recommend the Srsly Satin lipstick from e.l.f. at the drugstore. The next product that I want to recommend is setting spray from the drugstore. So this, by the way, you can't really find this at CVS or Walgreens, but I would still call this drugstore just because it is pretty, it's on the low end, affordability wise. It is pretty affordable at $16, but it's, you know, there are other setting sprays I have used, but I wouldn't say that they're really the quality that I look for. And the quality in the Morphe setting spray, this is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist spray, and I would say that this really helps your makeup last a long time. This helps my makeup last all day, and you know, my makeup is pretty much budge proof once I put this on. So definitely recommend the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, even though it's a little bit, you know, it's not, I wouldn't really count it as like drugstore affordable, but it's not like high end, you know, it's not super expensive either. You know, I think the quality is amazing. You know, I think the spray is really really good. You know, it's super smooth. It is in aerosol bottle, so that kind of explains it, but it's refreshing. I do like to use it on a day-to-day basis. It's really good for the summer heat because, you know, the summer heat tends to melt my makeup off, but this one keeps it on all day. So definitely recommend the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. So the next product that I want to talk about is setting powder. So I don't use setting powder all over my face because it does tend to make my face look cakey, but the product that I'm going to talk about is so good. Like, it doesn't make your skin look cakey. It actually it keeps your skin matte all pretty, I mean, I would say pretty much all day, and you don't really need to, you know, repowder. It does a really good job of mattifying the skin, especially if you have oily skin. It does a really good job of that. It's really good for setting under the eye. It keeps your eyelids from creasing, or if you have lines like I do, it prevents lines from creasing. So yeah, it's a really good product. And the product that I want to recommend is the the Coty Airspun face powder. It's really good, again, for setting under the eyes. And, you know, if you want to set like any part of your face, it's also good for that. It really, you know, it mattifies, it lasts all day, and, you know, it doesn't make your face look cakey at all. So it's pretty good for that. So the next product that I want to talk about is, hi Nyla. The next product that I want to talk about is blush. So I don't really have a single blush from the drugstore, kind of like what I showed you with the butter bronzer. I don't have that with blushes. I do use a non-drugstore high-end blush, but you know, since this video is about drugstore recommendations, I kind of wanted to talk about Physicians Formula blushes, because Physicians Formula carries really good bronzers and blushes. Their blushes are extremely pigmented, you know, very creamy, easy to blend. And the one, okay, sorry about Nyla. But anyways, so the one that I want to recommend is from Physicians Formula, and the collection I have here, by the way, yeah, it's a really amazing collection, by the way. Physicians Formula is one of like the better brands at the drugstore, and this collection has bronzer, highlighter, which I'm going to get into later, eyeshadow, lipsticks, and blushes. And I want to talk about the blushes because they're really amazing in this collection. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this. So already, like you can see, you know, it has bronzers on this side. And this is a really great collection to start with. If you don't really know what color bronzer you want to go with, is suitable for your skin, this is really for your skin tone. This is really good for just trying out different bronzer colors, you know, different textures. Well, actually, I think they're all the same texture. Well, actually, some of them have a little bit of shine, or I guess you would call shimmer in them to kind of create like a, you know, glow, if you want like that extra glow with these bronzers. So that's really nice. I like that. So yeah, you can, you know, try, this is a really great product to start with if you want to try out different bronzers, if you don't know what is suitable for your skin tone. And yeah, the eyeshadows, I wouldn't really recommend these eyeshadows. I think, you know, there's better ones, but they're okay. And then these have, so this collection, I just want to quickly show you if I can open this. Oh my gosh. Oh, there you go. Figured it out. Okay, so now these are the highlighters. I'm going to get into the highlighters in a little bit. And on the other side, we have lipsticks and blushes, but I want to talk about the blushes because the blushes are really great. I have been using these blushes for a while, and I have to say the blushes are really amazing in this collection. But if you do want to get, but you can't get these blushes separately, individually. You know, each blush does come in a pan like this. So if you do want to get, you know, these blushes, they do come in the single pans. But I kind of wanted to go over each one because, you know, these do have names. So if you want to somehow, you know, get one of these, I want to kind of show you up close because that way, you know, you can kind of look and see which ones you want to try out from the drugstore. So starting from this one, this is Natural Glow. The next one over is Plum Rose. The one down below is Beachy Peach. And the one to the right is Rosy Pink. The one below that is Saucy Mauve. And the one to the left is Copper Cabana. And the one down below is Vintage Rouge. Yeah, so these are the blushes. And yeah, so I really like these blushes. You know, some of them are definitely matte. So like the I forget what the font is. The Rosy Pink is a really beautiful one. I love these with like more, you know, like if I want to do like a pinky eyeshadow look, this one goes really well with that. And then I haven't tried this one yet, but I think this would be good for like, you know, if you want to create like a bronzed up look. Yeah, but I think these are all great. Some of them do have a little bit of shimmer for like a extra glow you want to put on your cheeks. So that's also really nice. But yeah, these blushes are really great. I think they, you know, blend super easy on the skin, and you know, they're super creamy. They are very pigmented, so a little goes a long way. And yeah, so I think these are really great. I do have currently on my cheeks, I have the Rosy Pink blush. So yeah, very pretty. Okay, so the next product that I want to talk about is highlighter. And for highlighter, I do use on a day-to-day basis, I do use a high-end product. But I wanted to talk about, again, the Physicians Formula highlighters, because these highlighters are really amazing. You know, I think that the quality of the Physicians Formula highlighters are just, you know, superb. I think, you know, they, you know, sometimes often beat high-end quality. So I kind of wanted to show you a few of them. So these are the highlighters I'm referring to. And I'll just name what they are because, sorry. You know, one thing about this collection is that the packaging is super cheap, but the quality inside is amazing, and you know, it's worth getting it. Super cheap and affordable, so it's definitely worth it because you're getting really good products inside. Like, you're getting 8 bronzers and they're all amazing quality. They're super creamy, buttery, and blend so easily. And the highlighters are also really amazing. They, you know, really provide like a lot of glow to the skin. The eyeshadows, but the blushes, amazing. So yeah, anyways, so the highlighters, so there's a lot of highlighters here, you know, for all skin tones. I mean, there are, you know, darker highlighters for darker skin tones, and you know, there are lighter highlighters up here for lighter skin tones. So again, if you want to like if you don't know what kind of highlighter you want to start out with, you can definitely experiment with all these highlighters. You know, this is a great collection to do that with. But if you are interested in getting any of these highlighters, you know, I wanted to show you up close because, you know, these are really amazing. They're all really great quality. I've used all of them, so I have, you know, I can say that they are really great quality. Let's start from here. So this one is Pearl. This one is Iridescence. The one below is Rose Gold, and the one to the right is Pink, and the one below that is Copper, and then one next to it is Deep Mauve, and then one below is Champagne. Yeah, so those are what I recommend for highlighters. I think Physicians Formula has a really great quality for highlighters, bronzers, and blush. So, you know, they're very affordable, you know, not too expensive. I think the products are like under 15 bucks. But yeah, definitely highly recommend Physicians Formula for those 3 categories of makeup. If you were thinking of getting bronzer, blush, or highlighter. So the last product that I want to talk about is foundation. Now for foundation, I have like the best recommendation. This is comparable to high-end products, and it's so affordable. It's better than a lot of high-end products I have used. And the one that I recommend for foundation is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible 24-hour Freshwear foundation. That's a long name, but it's a really good product. This foundation is very long lasting. You know, if I'm gone for like a whole day, you know, like 12-hour day, I come back home and it's still like on my skin, hasn't moved at all, hasn't budged. And you know, I do get a little bit of oiliness, but it's not like crazy oily. So, and I do get very oily. I tend to get oily in my T-zone, so my forehead, my nose, you know, under my nose, on my chin, my cheeks. I do get very oily. But this foundation does a really good job of maintaining, you know, that matte look of a foundation. And it really, so this is a full coverage foundation, by the way, so you can definitely, you know, build it up to full coverage. If you use, you know, several pumps on your face, that will, you know, definitely help to give that full coverage look. But if you wanted to also do like a medium coverage or like a, you know, low to medium coverage, you know, you don't want that like full coverage every day. It's also good for that too. You don't have to go for it. This foundation, you can build it up to full coverage, but you don't need to do that if you don't want that full coverage look. But yeah, it's really good. It does cover up everything if you want that full coverage look. It's really great for, you know, glam looks, you know, for parties, weddings, whatnot. Like this foundation is, you know, really great for that. And it's also great for everyday wear because it's super lightweight. Like you don't feel it once you put it on. You know, that feeling of having foundation disappears. And I only get reminded of like wearing foundation by the end of the day when I come home. And, you know, I've been wearing this for like 8+ hours. That's when I start feeling it, because it, you know, you can start feeling like the oil like peeking through. And so that's the only time I feel it. But usually, like, you know, I forget that I even have makeup on. You know, it's just that good. It's very lightweight, you know, covers up everything. You can build it up to full coverage. And yeah, it's I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's really amazing. But yeah, highly recommend the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour Freshwear foundation. That was a tongue twist. So yeah, those are all the products that I wanted to talk about today. I highly recommend these products. You don't need to spend a whole lot of money to have an amazing look. Whether you want it to go for, you know, a natural look, or you want to go for a very glam look, these products will achieve that for you, and at a very affordable price. So yeah, hope you learned a lot today, and hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait for the next one. Bye.